Today's pup walk talk. What are we calling this? Does that work? Do we like this? Is continuation. A continuation on a theme. If you're hearing noises, there's kids playing on a playground and somebody's having a potential mental health crisis over there, and we're trying not to listen in, but this is where we... Gross, Chester. Thank you for cleaning, but also you. They handle their business. Can you tell that I've been crying? So remember how I said that I've had to learn how to apologize, and I practice first with my dogs because I'm the monster. I'm the problem. It's me. Well, we had an incident this morning. I was trying to let Chester, I was trying to see if Chester could hold it. He's been having pee-pee problems. If you don't know the previous stories, he had a UTI. Well, it was an infection in his business, but it was different from UTI. Look, this girl, she is hyper, but everybody's on high energy right now because we had a rough morning. And it wasn't his fault. I just wanted to see if he could do it. And he couldn't. I was filling their food, and he was doing a good job. He was being a good boy, and he was waiting, and then all of a sudden he just started peeing. Oh, good Lord. Just started peeing, couldn't help it, and wouldn't stop. Even though sometimes if you I'm not saying pull, but if you grab their tail, sometimes I just was trying to interrupt him so I could get him outside to finish the job. Nope, he had the whole business inside. And that was my fault. And that's the reality. And I knew it even though I was chasing him around the house because he wouldn't stop peeing, and he was walking while peeing, which was my fault also. I could have just let him stay in one place, but I was trying to get him to stop. You know how it is. Sorry, Mommy, go ahead. Go ahead. It was all my fault. It was all my fault. And I still yelled and got frustrated and hit the wall for myself. Sometimes I was explaining this to my roommate who came out and helped me regulate later, by the way. He's a very good person and very kind to me. Sometimes my issues, whatever my rage, is like a pipe bomb, and it's better to allow the energy to bleed out as it's coming in. So if I'm walking around and not this time, not never, but if I slap the wall, I never punch the wall. I know not to hurt myself, but I have to let the energy out. Because if you know anything about explosions, they're worse when they're contained. So I was actively brewing explosion, and I needed to not contain it. And the whole time I'm talking to the dogs, and I'm saying, it's not your fault, it's my fault, and I'm just cleaning up after you. It's not your fault, it's my fault. And then I finally get their food out, and Athena, while I'm going to the bathroom myself, and I leave the door open, I don't give a I'm watching them. Because Athena went and started eating Chester's food. And so I had to scream at her, but I'm on the toilet. I couldn't get up and grab her and get her to stop. So I had to yell at her because she wouldn't stop eating his food. And I was like, come here, come here, come here. I'm making my scary face and my scary sounds, because here's the thing. I grab her by the scruff. That loose part of skin that you can grab on a puppy. You can still grab that on a dog in an emergency, especially a bulldog. You've got all this loose skin right here. So when you have no handles and you've got to get them away from something, that scruff right there is pretty okay. He doesn't really have it, so he doesn't have nearly as much, so I try not to grab his scruff. But I don't have to. He's not a puppy anymore. He doesn't do this shit because Athena has medical shit. Athena gets pancreatitis if she eats too much fat. She has to have a specialized diet because of her digestion problems, she has to have an incredibly low-fat diet. I can't get her food higher than 6% fat. Do you know how hard it is to find dog food with a 6% or lower fat content? It's like you have to get the specialized shit, which is super expensive, and there's one brand, Healthy, I forget what their brand is. Anyway, if anybody's curious, I'll share it with you. I'll go find it. But look at these, now they're playing. Okay, you're getting tangly. Thank you for calming down. She's playing a little too rough sometimes. Athena, come here for a second. Come here for a second. We gotta unwrap, 1 second. I'm holding her back just because she goes a little too hard, and then Chester eventually gets mad at her. And that's what happens. And he's telling her to calm down and back off, and she won't. So I have to pause and until they're done. Scritching her ears always works. Kind of just sets her into a calmer mode. It's like, it's fine that they play, but when they're constrained on these leashes, it can get dangerous fast because they can get tangled up, they can get too intense, she gets a little leash aggressive, you know? Anyway, what was I saying? So she started eating Chester's food, which could literally kill her because while she can't eat fat, Chester has to eat fat. He's on old man food. If you know anything about senior dog food, it's high in fat and protein to make up for the things they don't retain as well. And so his food is literally poison to her. And she was eating his food because he was fucked up and eating slow because he was stressed out because I'd yelled at him for peeing in the house, but I wasn't yelling at him, I was just yelling about it, and I wasn't keeping myself calm. Can you keep yourself calm while your dog is walking around leaving a stream? And he pees. Look at this dog. Number one, he's a big dog. Sorry, bud. I'll unlock you. Go ahead. He's a big dog. Okay? He's a long boy. And he has Cushing's. Stop digging holes. He has Cushing's, which means he's drinking water all the time. Like, I don't think it's affected him in other major ways at all, but he's thirsty all the time. He drinks so much water, so when he pees, it's a fucking event, okay? It's a fucking waterfall. And so I'm freaking out at him, and so he's a little stressed out, and he's not eating very quickly. And then Athena steps in and steals his food, and she's a bully. Literally, she's a bully, and she's a bully. And she just steals his food, and he just doesn't want to fight her because he's too old, and he just lets her. So I'm having to intercede. I have to get her to stop. She is literally endangering her own fucking life, and I have no money. The worst thing about not having money is that I have no emergency funds if they get sick. Like Chester getting sick, I had to use money that would have gone to other things and it was a loan, a predatory loan that I had taken out. And that was supposed to go to like rent and stuff. And so when I had to take him to the vet and get him examined and get him on an antibiotic, it cost me like $200 bucks. No, like $160 because I get a good discount there. I signed up for that. You know, Vetco has that subscription thing, so I'm still paying like $40 a month, even though I can't afford it, because the one thing I can do is if I pay $40 a month, I can take them in. The exam is covered by the subscription, so at least I can get them. It doesn't matter, it's an emergency every time because I don't have the funds to protect them in an emergency. So I have to do prevention. And sometimes prevention is screaming at them. And I'm already dysregulated. I'm already not handling shit because Chester's just peed all over everything. And I grab her real mean. I did. I grabbed her real mean. Did I grab her in a place where I knew it was okay? Sure. I regulate enough that I can prevent harm, as I said. But I still grabbed her mean, and I scared her. And I was yelling, and I scared her. And she was shaking. And I said, I'm sorry. And I need a minute. So I closed the bathroom door and just sat alone for a while. Caught my breath. calmed myself. When I came back out, I apologized. I started mopping the floor up, spraying the carpet cleaner. My roommate came out to check on me. I said, I'm fine. I get really nasty face when I'm not doing well. I get dead eyes. I think that's the worst part about my face. So I've got the tism, right? So they've got resting bitch face. I've got resting autism face. I'm not the first person I've heard say that. I got that from another content creator. Resting autism face. And this is what I look like a lot. Right? Just, I have a very neutral face. And it makes people uncomfortable because they can't tell what's behind the face. I'm like, you don't need to read what's behind my face. I'll just tell you with my words. I'll never leave you hanging. But when I'm in an episode, I get dead eyes like a shark, like no reaction, like something I learned from my dad. And I eventually was able to, since Chester had already peed, it wasn't a hurry to get them back out to go to the bathroom. Athena doesn't have emergencies like that. I love living in a living neighborhood. This neighborhood is so full of life. Other neighborhoods I've lived in, you go outside, there's no one out, and you're the only one. You go outside here, not just because we're by a school, but just the neighborhood is alive. So anyway, I get everything cleaned up. My roommate was giving me some space. I sit down next to Chester so I can pet him and say I'm sorry, because he'd gone and sat on the couch. I give him his pets and say I'm sorry for grabbing your tail to try to get you to stop. That was really mean of me. Sorry for being scary. I was just trying to get you to stop peeing. I'm not mad at you. You didn't do anything wrong. It was my fault. This is how I talk to my dogs. They deserve it. I scared them. And Athena comes up and she likes to sit on the ottoman in front of me and lay on my legs like a lap pillow. And I petted her and scratched her ears and said, I'm sorry, I was scary. But before that, before Athena came over because she was still afraid of me, I finally cried. I sat next to Chester. I told him I was sorry, and then I cried. I have found that when I am in... Sorry, hearing's hurting me. Sometimes it doesn't fit well with the earpiece anyway. Sometimes when I'm having a meltdown, what I really need is to have a breakdown and cry. And it releases the rest of the pressure. You know? It's like, I mentioned, I'm like a pipe bomb. If I leave it contained, I'll explode, and the explosion will be way worse. But instead, it's more like since it's not contained, it's just more like a bonfire. You pour gasoline on, and then it just gets real bright and hot, but then it flares out really quickly. That's the inside of my chest. And the best way to put that fire out is just to cry. It fixes everything. Because I was guilty. I felt guilty. I feel guilty. Because that was my fault. And I made them suffer for my mistakes. And that hurts. That really hurts. Because I love them. And I protect them from harm. I don't give them harm. So my roommate came out and gave me comfort because, again, good person. Helped me get it all out. Athena came because she forgave me. See? She loves me. And she always worries about me when I cry. That's why she came back from playing. Hi, Mommy. It's okay. I'm okay. Thank you. Now that she knows I'm okay, she'll go back to eating dirt. Stop digging holes. They aren't afraid of me anymore. They know me well enough to know that when I have a meltdown, I'm dangerous. They also know me well enough to know that when I sit down with them and say that I'm sorry, I mean it, and that I'm done being dangerous. And they know I have times where I'm not in control. Not 100% in control. I don't follow every impulse when I'm having a meltdown. I don't. I'm in control of the harm that I cause. I can limit the way that I act out my aggression. Chester's saying it's time to walk again, I think. Or are you gonna just sit down somewhere? Anyway. Maybe he was just checking on me. So I am in control, and the only reason I can have so much control is because when I got out of high school, my first job was working with autistic kids who had meltdowns. Literally. I worked as a one-to-one ABA tutor in-home. And I have another video where I talked about that. I think it's in my... Stop digging holes. I think it's in my Why Am I Poor video. But the... What? I became immediately grateful for that job, and I've said it more than once, and I recognized it pretty quickly in. Go ahead, walk where you want. I'm not stopping you. These leashes got 25 foot. Hold on. I thought he wanted to walk. I stood up because I thought we wanted to walk, but now I'm not sure what he's doing. What are we doing? Anyway, I'll just see what they're doing. We'll wrap this up. He just wanted to eat some bark. He really likes bark. He loves chewing on sticks and stuff. That's such a dog thing. Anyway, I'm already filthy. I have to shower anyway. I'm gross from cleaning up piss. We're not going over there, baby. We're not bugging the kids while they're playing. Anyway. So, they forgave me. And they do forgive me. Where was I? Oh. Working with those kids, I was immediately grateful because I realized what an important piece of my healing this was going to be. Because I learned that I had meltdowns, just like they did. I didn't recognize it then as autism. I didn't know I was autistic until about 1.5 years ago. It's a complicated thing. I should have, because I have so much in common with those kids. There's a reason I was always good at working with them. Throughout all my 20 years in education, I was always the best at working with autistic kids because I understood them. And it's like, well, duh, I understood them. I am them. Sorry, we're fighting about a tree. I don't let them wrap me around trees. Anyway. Got dirt in my mouth. Anyway, how'd that happen? Probably Athena. So, I remember thinking, maybe 1 year or so into the job, how grateful I was. And I was very religious, so I said how grateful I was to God for putting this career, this opportunity in my path, because all I wanted most in the world was to not become my dad and to learn how to regulate myself. Don't eat his poop. Chester just pooped. I didn't make you watch that. I have to stay here and clean it up. But what I wanted most in the world was not become my dad. And what my dad has always been worst at, still is to this day, is regulating his own emotions and managing his own meltdowns. He takes his shit out on everybody around him and doesn't seem to care about the impact. I say doesn't seem because I don't know what's inside of his head, but the way he acts makes it seem like his reactions, his reactivity is everybody else's fault, and it's never his. And I learned that children don't deserve to be screamed at because I'm dysregulated. So I learned how to deal with the most chaotic situations. And I'm talking, if you know kids, autistic kids with high support needs, if you know them, you know that communication frustration is a real trigger for a lot of meltdowns. You know that sensory issues are a big trigger for meltdowns. And so these are kids who had meltdowns all the time, and I couldn't react. I worked in other programs. I worked in schools. I worked as a paraprofessional. I did this for a decade. I worked in special ed for a decade. I had to learn restraints, safety restraints. They're like big bear hugs. I was certified in it, like safety care mat. If you know, you know. So like when I say I had to restrain kids, I did it in safe ways to protect them from hurting themselves or hurting other people. Because sometimes you need somebody to hold you back because you're kicking people or biting them, or you're a 150-pound sixth grader and you're gonna throw a chair through a fucking window. If you know, you know. And the funny thing is, I did know, and I knew why they were like that. And so I was the kind of person, and the people I worked with were also like this too. Such good people. The best people work in special education. That we sat down again. I guess he just needed to poop and wanted to sit back down. Come over here, Athena. We'll go pick up that poop in a second. We'll just finish sitting and talking for a minute. You don't hold it against them when they have a meltdown. You hold them, you de-escalate it, you help them calm down, and you say, are you ready to talk now? Are you ready to figure it out? And you help them, and you don't hold a grudge. And that first decade of education was necessary for me to be able to do the next half, because it taught me patience. I mean, trained patience in me. I don't want you eating his poop. Ew. Blah. We don't do kisses because she eats poop. She knows that. She's being passive aggressive. She licks passive aggressively. Anyway. So yeah. I was grateful for that first job because it helped me on my path to not becoming my dad, to not becoming so reactive and have meltdowns around people who it wasn't their fault and make it their fault. And for a while, I held it in too much because I just bottled it up, even though I was mistreated in my own home. My exes were really shitty to me, both of them. But I didn't re-access my ability to truly just let shit go, let it out, until about a year and a half ago. And that's good for me too, because I was allowing injustice in my life because I was so afraid of being too scary. I didn't want to scare people off. And then I learned that scaring people off is sometimes a good thing. And sometimes people deserve it. And sometimes I'm the right tool sometimes that's the right tool for the situation. That fiery, explosive rage needs to be treated more like a scalpel, a precision instrument that must be trained into use. You must be trained to use it. That makes more sense. And should only be used in surgical applications and emergency situations. I still have meltdowns sometimes. I had a meltdown this morning, but it only lasted a few minutes. Well, maybe 10, and they've already forgiven me. We're already friends again because I apologized, because I sat with them and said this was 100% my fault. I'm so sorry I scared you. I love you. You're wonderful. You are so sweet. And please don't eat Chester's food because it'll kill you. So yeah, when I say I'm the problem, it's me. I mean it. And if anybody's watched this video and you can't relate at all to anything I've said and you think I'm a villain of some kind, okay. You can't possibly know. If you can have that assumption, you cannot possibly know what it is to be like me. And I don't want you to. If you've been watching this video and you're kind to me, but you still can't relate, again I say, that's a good thing. This is not something I want to share with others. It's not a good feeling. It doesn't make me feel powerful. It makes me feel weak. It makes me feel sad. It makes me hurt people I love. And it's something that I have worked on for 20 years, 22 years actively to control. Control's the wrong word. To ease. This will always be a part of me, so I've learned how to just accept that this is who I am. So I do security at a bar because I know I'm really great in an emergency. And I'm training up to be strong, and I've trained in fighting arts, and I know how to use a gun. I was raised in a gun-using household. Were you trained to kill people as a child? I was. Not literally, there weren't targets, but I was trained on how to pull the trigger and know that whatever you shoot out, you must intend to kill. And we weren't hunters. My dad was in the military. We never went hunting. We did target practice, and we talked about gun safety, responsible gun ownership, those kind of things. And also be sure that if you're going to shoot somebody, you meant to. Were you talked to like that when you were a kid? Sometimes the world needs people like me. Look at the world now. Seems really peaceful here. Kids playing and dogs hanging out, but I know that ICE could come to my neighborhood at any time and take away half my fucking neighbors because they're the Gestapo and they're secret policing people who are brown, and my neighborhood is primarily brown. Do you think I'm gonna let that happen? You want somebody like me in this situation, because I'm the kind of person that when I hear screams in the middle of the night, I go outside and I bring my gun. Not everybody's like me, and not everybody's supposed to. Not everybody was meant to be a warrior. I was bred into it. I come from a warrior people, and my dad was a warrior. And he trained me to be one too. And he also gave me this terrible, terrible gift. of being a pipe bomb when necessary. I don't love it, but I know how to use it. I don't want you to be like me. I just want you to be able to understand. I don't know. I just hope you can understand me. At least a little bit. I know they do. Me and Athena have a lot in common. I'm a bit of a bulldog. Anyway, we're gonna go home and I'm gonna eat breakfast. I'm gonna stop being hangry and start being calm and finish cleaning my house.